horror fans to HHN 365, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. My name is Duff, and I'm joined by my producer, Nico.
Hey, howdy, hey.
And, he's a co-host too. We always call him producer, but he's a co-host. Let's give him that credit a little
Yeah,
bit.
close enough. Yeah.
Hey, so we've been gone a few weeks, and that's actually not by design. We didn't take a post-HHN break. We actually have had things planned, and personal life things get in the way, as you all know. We do have our Schmitties, the award show, coming up soon. We will get that out. But right now, we are here to talk to you about Sir Henry's. Yeah, during December. That's right, because they have a great event this year for the first time, Sir Henry's Haunted Christmas, which you guys are definitely going to want to check out because we got invited to their media night just a couple nights ago, and we were so honored to get that opportunity. And Nico, we loved it.
Yeah, it was really good. I think I might have preferred it this time over the other ones, but we'll get into it.
And another fun thing is you brought your significant other, first time at a haunt ever.
Yes, it was her first haunt ever was this. And I think this was a good one to ease her into it because the kitschy Christmas really kind of kept over it, and there was enough like Christmas stuff there where it was easy for her to ease into it.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's one of the things about it. Like you would think when they're kind of just doing like a almost overlay event that it would feel a lot smaller, right? But it didn't. There's less trails. To be fair, there are, but everything else just felt like a full-on event, which is something I really appreciated. So tonight we're basically just going to go take a deep dive, review what it is. And before I do that, I do just want to recommend it highly to everybody. There's one important thing you should keep in mind. They're only doing advance tickets. So if you went before and showed up at the door back in September or October, you can't do that this time. So make sure you get your tickets in advance. It is only for 5 nights, December 10th and 11th, 17th and 18th, and then the 19th. So you only have 5 opportunities, and you do have to buy tickets in advance. So just keep that in mind. And then, hey, again, I recommend it. You're going to hear why coming up, but it's definitely worth checking out, especially if you're missing haunts right now. Even if you're not, I think it's going to suddenly make you miss haunts again. Maybe you're in your little break period, but if you go do this, you'll realize you shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's really good there. The prices are a little lower than they were that time because there's only 2 trails instead of 3. So it's after the online fee, it's $22.99 per person, or you can get the front of the line for $33.49 per person, and that's including the fee.
Yep. So this time, along with that though, you do get the 2 haunted trails. You get an escape game and laser tag again. The entertainment's there, of course, the walk around scare actors. And also axe throwing, which is not real axes. Don't worry. I remember that was something going through my head. Like they have like actual axe throwing at a haunt event. That sounds a little, tough to run, but they're not real axes. It's like the I don't know, you said you've seen it before, right, Nico?
Yeah. So if you've like been to a Dave and Buster's or a Game Time or something along the line main event, it's kind of like the axe throwing game that they have there, where it's just a bunch of pegs that are closely set together on a board, and you throw like these little plastic axes at them, and you try to get it to stick like in between the pegs. So it's like peg style. It's not like the giant beat up wooden target and you fling a giant axe over there. No, that's at Deezerland only. So.
So but there is a lot for you to do at this event along with the trails. So again, definitely recommend it. I'd say it's worth the money. But yeah, let's get into our actual experiences here. So we showed up. We had 2.5 hours to take in the event. We had like a 6 to 8:30 time frame, and we took advantage for sure. I mean, we knocked everything out in a timely manner. We started with everything that wasn't trails. We did laser tag first, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't get to do laser tag during the Halloween season because the night I went, it was actually down. But you said it was actually a little bit different this time, right?
Yeah. So the one in the fall was team-based laser tag, which is fine, but they only, I think, allowed only up to 6 or 8 people at a time. But so if you didn't really have that much of a group, you're kind of doing 2 versus 2, which, it isn't always the best for laser tag. But here, this one is free for all. Every Man for Themselves, laser tag, which was a lot of fun, and it also includes some secret surprises that happen during the middle of it. So that's always a good time to see.
Yeah, it was a good time for sure. I will say, learn about your gun first. I didn't. So if you have any questions, ask the attendant. Reloading, how to start, all that stuff, because you kind of do it all manually. And I kind of messed myself up at the beginning. So just pay attention. Don't waste any of your time. Just ask questions if you have any. But yeah, no, it was fun. There's a a fun. I don't want to ruin it. You are joined, and it's fun. It's laser tag with a twist of like at a hunt. So
Yeah,
I'm not going to ruin what comes in or anything like that.
it is better than the twist that they had during the fall. So I will say it's done a little bit better there.
What twist did they have in the fall? I don't know.
Well, if you
You
were
can
there in
say
the
it.
fall, well, I mean, it kind of is along the same lines of it,
Okay, then I won't.
but
Okay,
yeah, but it was executed better this time around. I don't want to really
gotcha.
spoil it, but I will say that the laser tag I feel like is worth it. Is worth the $5 this time around.
Gotcha. All right, and then you also have the escape game, which I believe back for Halloween was a 5 minute one, and this time it's a 3 minute one.
Yes.
And to be fair, it is a bit easier. You know, I will say it's scarier though.
Oh yes.
Um, it's a I think it's one of those ones where like once you figure out what's going on, you're gonna knock it out pretty quick. However, it is fun because it feels like it's at a hunt. Where I feel like you know what, the one at Halloween didn't really feel like a hunt one. It was more just kind of like a small escape room, which isn't necessarily a knock. That's fair. Just make it an escape room and kind of a themed environment. But this one actually like has effects. We'll say.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're really fun. So go around, push all the buttons, try to see if you can get out within 3 minutes. And that's kind of cool that they put a 3 minute clock on you because you're really trying to figure it out. I mean, once you do figure it out, you definitely got it. So, but it was good. I enjoyed it. I would definitely, yeah, for $5. Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's worth checking out if you're there. Um, Now the walk around experiences, the characters that they have, I
Hmm.
think even a step above Halloween season. Um, yes,
100%.
Santa and Mrs. Claus, which are kind of there at the center at the tree, seated. So kind of almost a meet and greet style experience. Not quite sure how it's going to work during the season. We went during a night where there weren't too many people, so I don't know if it's going to be more structured during the actual event nights or not. But it seems like it'd be like a meet and greet style. So that's fun. They're fun to interact with, fun experience.
Yeah. A very Plant City Santa, I will say.
Yes, this is true. This is very true. They have Krampus walking around, of
Mhm.
course. How could you not? And he looks badass. That
Yeah,
costume, great.
that was good with their we had the elves.
The elves are so much fun.
Yeah, they're going around interacting. They were very, very like in your face and very good at keeping you on your toes and interacting with you.
Hmm.
They weren't really scary as much as they were like creepy and kind of like yeah, they were just more creepy than they were scary, but it was still very fun to add
Yeah,
to it.
and
And they would
to be
just
honest,
pop out of
funny.
nowhere.
Funny was
Yeah,
their main
funny.
thing.
They were good. Yeah, that's a surprising thing because sometimes, sometimes when you have interactions with them, it can be kind of cringe. Like
Hmm.
when you have interactions with any like walk around character that like actually talks to you. A lot of times I cringe at that, but these guys I thought were really good. I think that puts them above for this one.
And I will say, they can scare you. There is a way they do it. I won't ruin that, but I watched it happen multiple
Oh
times,
yeah.
including to people within our group. So
Oh yeah. Yeah. I see. I
yeah,
remember what you're saying there.
stay on your toes with them.
We also had our good friend Gingy,
Gingy,
the gingerbread man with the
the
knife.
inflatable gingerbread man. He was the aura he created was just great, and he has this little knife, and that's just really well done scare acting. Like you're just an inflatable gingerbread man, and one small prop, and they absolutely killed it.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It just goes to show you that you don't really need a whole lot of money to go along with something like this. and they really executed well. I feel like this really, really set it apart from the other ones. There's also a couple more like areas to get your picture taken a little bit more there, um, which I really enjoyed. And the centerpiece, I think, it works a lot better for Christmas than it does for Halloween.
It does. It does. I think we're about to get to this soon, but the facades of the trails really looked good for the holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's start with Krampusnacht.
Yeah.
So Krampusnacht is going to be that one that's kind of off to the far left, the mostly outdoor trail. Um, and this facade, I think, just kind of it lends itself perfectly to being decorated with lights and looking Christmassy and decked out for the holidays, right? And it looked great from the outside. It's the one thing that like fully draws you to it within this event. Um, and I honestly, it keeps up throughout the trail itself. Obviously the layouts are going to be the same if you went during Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't change, but they do a full overlay. All the characters fit the season really well, and I think Krampusnacht. It wasn't my favorite of the two for the night. However, I thought the character design in Krampusnacht was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was really good and put it over the top. And them adding Christmas lights all over the trail, you'd think like, oh, it's going to be illuminated all the way through. No, actually, it uses the opposite effect for it. So before it sends you like to the back trail, you go through this really bright white light area. So your eyes, like your pupils, shrink up so much when walking through there. So when you walk out into the dark trail, it's barely illuminated, and so you have a harder time seeing going back out there. So I thought that was really well
Mm,
done and thought out, that they kind of like blast your eyes a little bit to set up scares that happen down in the trail.
yeah, definitely. And I think I could be wrong, but it feels like they are less staffed, but they actually do a great job at making up for it by having kind of the return scares. Seeing the
Mhm.
same the scare actor multiple times, which is almost creepier than just having another scare actor. Which when we get into the next trail, that's going to come into play even more. But having someone you just saw kind of disappear and then come back like, oh fuck, you again? Jesus Christ, scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, Jesus Christ is part of the trail.
Yeah, sweet baby Jesus. Which we won't ruin what that has to do with the trail. But that I think both are probably our favorite parts of that trail.
Oh yeah,
That little piece,
100%. Yeah,
that
that little scene was
that's
really
so good.
good.
It's funny, it's creepy, it's scary, it's goofy, it's great. Like this wasn't my favorite trail, but I think this is my favorite piece of either of the two. So
Yeah, I would.
we call it the sweet baby Jesus part. That's not
Yeah.
official, but you'll get it when you walk through why we call it that. And then again, this is the outdoor trail, and they play up to that, walking through the woods, and utilizing the woods well, and the scare actors popping out of there. So, uh, again, I think this one is more kind of along the lines of the quality of the one they do in this location during the Halloween season. I don't know if
Mhm.
you'd agree with that.
I would say it's a step up, just
Okay.
because I think they were there, since it's only two houses this year. I think like they put a lot more into both of them, especially to make it like, Christmassy, and what Christmas effect can we add to it. And I think the addition of all the Christmas lights, which were not done haphazardly, it looked like there was actually intent that was done
Yeah.
to them putting the lights up and doing the decorations for that, really lends itself well to the story that they're trying to tell, and just the overall quality of the trail. So I think it does exceed their Halloween time, but it could just be because they were able to consolidate their resources better.
I mean, yeah, no, that's a fair take. For me, this one's about the same. However, the other trail they have, which is located kind of center haunt, that is like the facade of the house, a Christmas haunting. This one I think was honestly like a complete step up from the Halloween season.
Oh,
Um,
100%.
and the facade doesn't change much. They put some reefs out, Snopes, and
Yeah.
yeah, I think that just works well. A tiny little step up on the facade, but once you go in, it starts off with almost almost a pre-show, I'd say.
Yeah,
You get
yeah,
like, I
you
think
do get like a exposition in there.
they do that a bit in the Halloween season, but this takes it to another level, like a full-on step up. And like I don't want to ruin it all, but almost kind of like Haunted Mansion style, the way they approach it for like the pre-show. We'll say. I don't know if you'd agree with that.
I mean, yeah, I would agree with that. I thought it was, it definitely set the tone, and it was surprising to have that in there. And as we go further into the house, we start to see it unravel a little bit more
Hmm.
from what they told us there, and uh, yeah, and this also really utilizes the revolving character a
Yeah,
lot
yeah. A ghost
as
may
well.
not follow you home, but it will follow you all the fuck around this trail,
Yeah, it is,
which
and it's
is
quite
great.
good.
Which is great. Like honestly, haunt your nightmares. This one scare actor, you won't be able to get them out of your mind.
Yeah,
I
she
promise
does a
you that.
really good job.
And I just really appreciate that pure haunted house. Like that's all it is. It's ghost uh, through a house. Obviously, more story that we're not going to ruin for you at this point. But 75% of the time, that's what it is. And I think it's executed really well. It feels creepy. There's a bunch of different character designs, and as we said before, you even get one that you're going to see a bunch, which you enjoy during that time. Um, so yeah, I think executed really well. Such a simple story, but done almost perfectly.
Yeah, and they have the spooky room still in there where it's the empty room, and you have a bunch of mannequins in there, and you trying to figure out which one's real, and
Hmm.
that's still well executed there. Yeah, and I thought uh there you're right though, there definitely was a smaller amount of characters in the house, especially in this one. This one really showed the lack of characters, but it really added to the effect that it was a party and it was kind of like a smaller party, and or like even a family that was just in there, and you just kept encountering the family members here and there.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean that's again like they found a way, like in the previous maze, um, to take kind of a lower staffing and make it fit and work really well, which is impressive. That's not something that's easy to do. We go to like horror nights, and if there's low staffing, you go, oh, yeah, they were poorly staffed, and it showed in a negative way. Um, Whereas obviously they planned for this, they knew this was how it's going to be, and they made it work to their advantage. And that's something that's just really impressive, and you don't see a lot. Usually, lower staffing it doesn't culminate in working in a positive manner, but it does here.
Yeah, and that just like is the overall thing about Sir Henry's is that they really go above and beyond what you would expect from there, and does give you an experience that, you know what, it probably would be better than to be honest, I probably enjoyed this more than I enjoyed Hollow Scream, if I'm going to
Wow.
be completely honest. Yeah, I thought this was a lot more enjoyable. I thought the people were into it a little bit more. I guess just because from an expectation standpoint and a price for performance standpoint, I would much rather spend the money to just spend a couple hours there than to spend the money to go to SeaWorld and not be able to bring a bag in and having to go with that, and just all the issues we ran into at Hallow Scream and just how that was laid out.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I really do prefer Sir Henry's both events, but definitely the Christmas event is what I prefer.
Yeah, and I mean, if you've listened to us, you know that we're Sir Henry's fans. We think this is a fantastic independent hunt that is definitely worth checking out, and honestly, doubly so during this season where your hunt options are limited slash non-existent. It is well worth the trip out to Plant City. They even, if you want to support them more, their swag shop they have special Christmas haunted Christmas merch as well. That's really cool design. They even have like this ornament, this like wood piece ornament. Of course, had to grab. So again, they're independent. Support them. Head out there, grab some of their merch. Um, it's we want to keep them going. We want experiences like this to stay around. And again, this is their first one for the holiday season. So we want to see this return and maybe even expand from here on out. So go support them, go check them out. If you're missing haunts, this is well worth going out there.
Yeah, it's different than your usual let's go look at Christmas lights thing to do during the holidays. It is quite the unique experience. It's something most places don't normally see. Have we ever seen a December haunt anywhere before? I mean, I know we have Krampus
Well,
as the film, but
yeah.
was there like ever anything that happened?
Anywhere, yes. In this area, like Central Florida, not really, no.
Which makes sense because, like, I mean, that it's surprising that it took them this long because the weather is just slightly cooler than it is,
Mhm.
and it is in
Oh,
October.
I mean, it's better for a hunt, you know?
Yeah,
It's perfect. And we went on, compared to what we've been having, a warmer night, but it felt
yeah.
great. Felt absolutely perfect.
And I know we weren't the only ones having a good time. It felt like everybody at the event seemed like they were liking it a lot more. Like I could just tell that the vibe was a lot better and was a lot happier for that. Maybe it was because it wasn't during the middle of Halloween Horror Night season, and a lot of them had been withdrawn for over a month, and they were just ready to get their like haunt fix back in.
Hmm.
But it just seemed like just everybody who we were with that night seemed to like really, really enjoy it, and
Yeah.
I'm glad to see that happen, and I'm glad that it's putting some teenagers to work there in Plant City. So
Yeah, it's truly a jolly event. Everyone's really happy to
Mhm.
be there. It's not even just because there's no other haunts right now. It's a really fun event, in a great unique way to bring in the holiday spirit. So again, just want to remind you, Sir Henry's HauntedTrail.com. You have to buy your tickets in advance, and it's only 5 nights: the 10th, 11th, 17th, 18th, and 19th of December. Head out to Plant City, check it out. Well worth it. And while we didn't have any news and rumors, uh, especially for Horror Nights, this week or the past month and a half or 2 months for that matter, um, we did have something we wanted to discuss that we thought kind of relates to it and something we want to see moving forward, and that is going to be the Velocicoaster documentary that was on Peacock, right?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say more of the Grinch's dummy thick ass.
Oh, I would like to see that. I see it every night in my dreams, and now, so that's we're good
uh,
there.
no, but seriously, yeah, the Velocicoaster special. Uh, this was the first time we've seen this from in-house Universal.
Mhm.
Something along the lines of this, which was really cool because it seems like Universal's marketing is changing to kind of be more like that. Like they have it was the first time I've ever seen them release a POV of their one of their rides was
Mhm.
Velocicoaster. Not only a daytime but a nighttime one as well. And they just uploaded a Hagrid's one today too,
Oh, I didn't
which
see
is
that.
brand new. Yeah, that's brand new. They released that as well. And it's really cool to see them do this in house. And it's just good to have like theme park television content because that's what we grew up watching the Travel Channel. We saw
Mhm.
these specials. We saw Lightstorm Entertainment produce these things, talk about carousels and secret warehouses and things of that nature. And how it relates to HHN is hopefully we will get more content like that.
Mhm.
So if you haven't watched it yet, please go out there and watch it because they are definitely looking at the amount of numbers that this gets, and hopefully they'll be like, oh yeah, we should definitely do this for Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah,
Which
and we did get the puppet theater kind of sneak preview almost, which was
mhm,
like 8-10 minutes long. But this was more like a behind the scenes. What was it, 25-30 minutes, I believe, somewhere around that range?
yeah, it was a
Um,
21-minute special,
okay,
so it was
yeah.
almost television length. So I think if you have Peacock with ads, it just comes out to 30 minutes. So
Hmm. Yeah, and this was again like a full behind the scenes experience, which I think kind of, if you take what they did in puppet theater and blended it with this, I think that'd be great to get for maybe not every single house But certain houses, I mean, I'll take every house. Obviously, that might be too much to ask for, or just an overall event, one that's maybe like an hour long instead, behind the scenes for every event year, moving forward. That'd be great. They've shown that they are willing to do Peacock content for HHN. So if you kind of take this formula and kind of attach HHN to that, I think we'd all appreciate it, obviously, and I think it'd probably be decently successful.
Yeah, and it would be a good way to maybe build hype. So if they're like trying to get ready for it, it would be cool to see something like that. It is very, very polished,
Mm,
and they
mhm.
don't really go into any of the details. Like they say, this coaster was made in Europe, and like the trains, they were made in Europe. Like it won't even like go into that. Like when all the nerds watching it, it's like, no, I know Intamin. Yeah, they built this at their factory out there. Um, and then ship the trains over that way. So it is definitely sanitized and
Mm,
has passed through many filters of that, but it is cool to see them actually do something like that.
yeah,
So, Duff, I have a question for you.
sure.
If you were in charge of Universal like marketing and you're like, all right, put out something for HHN, like just create like a 30 minute to 1 hour thing promoting HHN that would come out before the event, what would you do?
Oh, I'm modernizing Art of the Scare.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I think Art of the Scare is like the perfect approach to like build hype and show a documentary style show for HHN. I think they nailed it so well.
Hmm. And like have whatever, like, so say if it was this year, we would have had Jack kind of like showing us around
Yep,
to the
exactly.
different ones. Like,
And I think yeah, that'd be great actually having unlike the travel channel style where you have kind of just the more the narrator than anything else, have like fully like an icon or some sort of host kind of really step in and take you in. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
yeah, I would love to see something like that happen. Me personally, I think it would be cool to kind of get something maybe a little bit more like behind the scenes. Like I think we had this talk about like when we were doing the art of the scare. I mean, not the art
Mhm.
of scare. No, not that. Unmasking the horror. When we were on one of our two on our major tour we were doing, where we said like 60 minutes to open, where it goes over the transition from
Ah,
Universal Studios to Halloween
yeah,
Horror Nights. Like it
yeah.
would be cool to like you see it from maybe you have spend a little time with ops saying like this is what we have to do for this. You go into the makeup, we see them put the makeup on there. We see the maintenance guys like go through and make sure that all the lights and stuff are working and all the sound effects and stuff like that. I think that'd be a really good way to kind of show off their park with that, which I will say is something really cool that Universal did in the Velocicoaster special. It showed off Universal creative, and that is
Mhm.
something we have almost never ever seen.
Yeah. They're
We
not they're not Imagineers.
no, they're
Imagineers are like used as faces, whereas Universal Creative members have not been until now. We're starting to get there a bit, right?
yeah, like Gregory. If you follow him on Twitter, G Prodigy, looked like I guess he's the lead designer of Velocicoaster. Pretty much like he was the project lead on that. And yeah, he's very interactive on there. So it'll be cool to see if they continue to do that, especially with HHN and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
And I mean,
No,
the thing is too, HHN, the creative directors they were already more kind of out there than your typical
mhm.
creative team member was, right?
Yeah,
Outside of HHN. The HHN ones were already kind of out there interacting, at media events and stuff and actually out, being a part of it. And even some of them straight up acting, being a part of
yeah,
the event completely, being like in it. So them already having that kind of little bit of branching out into that, I think that's kind of a natural progression, right?
yeah, absolutely. For something like that, like Mike Aiello, he's verified on Twitter,
Hmm.
even so, he goes even that far for that. So it would be cool to maybe see him in a special, and it'd be it'd be actually really cool. Uh, and I don't know if it's because of whatever contract that they signed uh, for whoever portrayed HR Blood and Guts.
Hmm.
But to have that whole loop that played in the house this year, just like
Oh,
you just have like all the little clips and stuff of that.
I know you'd eat that up. I think that was top three moment for you of our Unmasking the Horror
Oh
tour.
yeah, that they just left the television on. I got a full loop of that. That was fun.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff. If they could just like have that to put on in the background,
hmm
on Peacock, just let it play. That'd be great. I'd love
Or
that.
or even if they do what they do on Disney Plus, where it's like an hour of like the sunrises for an hour at like Animal Kingdom or
Hmm.
Epcot.
Hmm.
For that, like just have like the sunset, like just on a place at Halloween Horror Nights, and just like have the fog roll in and stuff
Hmm. I mean, do
like
you
that.
like even just how many videos have been produced for like kind of pre-show style things or like
hmm
ads? Just have them. I know you have them somewhere. Put them on Peacock. Why not?
Yeah, we start to get into the thing is like, oh, did they sign enough rights
Well,
away?
yeah,
Like,
of
can we
course.
use
Yeah.
this in perpetuity? And I think that's probably what's holding a lot of this up, to
I
be
mean, I
honest.
know, they're depending on who the character is, a lot of them are still at Universal. So I think a lot of them wouldn't be too difficult.
Yeah.
Obviously, some would create more issues. We saw some issues with like the caretaker bust at the tribute store this year and him being blurred out, and they had to work on the rights there and everything. So that was interesting. So yeah, of course, they got to watch out for stuff like that. But I think in a lot of cases, a lot of them are employed by Universal to this day, and for many of them, they do have kind of complete rights, to use however they'd like. So I think stuff like that could work. But more than anything, going back to what we started this about, I would like to see them kind of create new documentaries
hmm
about HHN to put on Peacock.
Yeah, and if we could have like a yearly one too
Oh
of
yeah,
like,
that's exact. Like that's exact. I want an art of the scare style thing every year. And would I want something that's a little more deeper? Where like the nerds would learn a lot still. Yeah, that'd be great. But I know that's not going to happen. It's going to be more polished. It's going to be neutered a bit, of course, But I'd take it as is, anyways.
yeah, like just like anything there, like just show us Andy Garfield mixing for a Marathon of Mayhem, or show the people training
Mm,
to for Halloween Nightmare Fuel this year.
yeah,
Um,
it,
yeah,
it,
so this is basically us just telling you, Universal, we'll pay for Peacock if you actually put stuff that we want on there, and I really hope that we got good numbers for the Velocicoaster special, because that
yeah,
will lead to more stuff like that.
yeah. Because of course, HHN, I want it for the most, but I'd love this for every new attraction, and even older attraction. This style entertainment for theme parks is what I crave. I
hmm
love this because like we are deep in this. We know everything they're going to tell us for the most part, but it's very different from knowing it, reading it on forums or wherever you hear it, and seeing it.
hmm
That's something you don't get. Like actually seeing high quality footage of all this stuff happening. That's what really makes it. And we don't have a lot of that at the moment, especially for Universal.
hmm
Especially for Universal. Um, so seeing more of that would make me extremely happy.
Yeah. It would be cool also, just like us spouting about like what we want to see for this. If we had like an Imagineering story style documentary that was about the creation of Universal Studios Florida, and
Oh,
like the quagmire that surrounded that, and like
mm-hmm.
how they got it up, and the go through like the MCA years and the Seagrams years and the Vivendi years, and then to the NBC Comcast years, just to see them go through that would be amazing. And or even, do Halloween Horror Nights from the start, because they're bound to have like
Oh, yeah.
footage somewhere of that.
And that's the thing. It's still, so relatively recent that all that stuff can still be traced and everyone
hmm
involved, except someone who doesn't need to be brought back because of why
Understand?
he
Yeah.
was fired and everything. Um, you know, can still be brought back. Talk about it. They're all still around. Um, you know, so it's not like Imagineering story, where at the start, it's no one's around from that point anymore. It's kind of like a gloss over it. Here's some details. You can literally bring everybody, majority of people back that created Universal and Horror Nights all the way to the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, what Universal really started, the entire process would have started in like the late mid 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's in the grand scheme of things, that's not that long ago.
Yeah, and Comcast, just a heads up, all these people that pay all this money that helps make Universal very profitable, they will spend the money on Peacock if you put that content on there. I know it. I know for a fact they will spend it. It is no question that you will get subscribers, and then they will forget that they're subscribed to Peacock, and they'll just get stuck in the loop. So that's exactly how you're going to do it. So
I'll pretend I don't already give them my money to watch the Premier League, but
yeah,
no, I don't pay already. Yeah.
Hell, the Olympics are coming up too, so I got to hold on to Peacock as well.
But yeah, no, we just wanted to talk about this because we think one, it's a great step in general to do stuff like this, and two, specifically for Horror Nights, this is something we're really lacking. It's something we saw previously on obviously Art of the Scare, and there were a few other smaller features that popped up, but recently, outside of the one Puppet Theater one, it really hasn't existed. So bringing that to us as the entire fan base would flip, absolutely flip and eat it up. So I think that's about all we have. Mainly we want to review our experience at Sir Henry's. Again, great time. Check it out. And then hopefully coming up, we're gonna start getting not news but more rumors. I'm gonna be honest, we really haven't heard anything outside of pure speculation at this point. So not much to talk about there. Hopefully that's gonna start coming soon. Some actual rumors. But yeah, Schmitty's should be coming up shortly. Hopefully even next week. We'll see. And after that, we'll start really kicking back into our kind of normal off-season schedule. Not that we have a normal off-season schedule, counting how our 2 years of existence have been during COVID, but we'll see what normal looks like. Hopefully. And hopefully more Mike. He will definitely be here for Schmitty's. So that's something to look forward to. So you don't have to listen to just me introduce the podcast. I know it's not the same. Trust me. I edit it and I go, damn, I'm not Mike. But anyways, that's it for now. We hope you enjoyed this. We hope you'll get excited for the Schmitty's coming up. We'd love doing our award show. So that's it. We'll see you hopefully next week. And see you.